We've got tips and recipes for healthy living. So for fun and inspiration, come and join us in the raw food world.
In several countries, and that's all in her books too, where the research that she did in hospitals in other countries, so she was respected highly.
Do you think it's a possibility that the fire was not an accident, or what do you think about that?
That never entered my mind, and no, I never entered my mind. I never felt that. I know the building was older, and I know it was, wiring in the walls. No, I don't think that is. I don't even have not one thought of that.
Cool.
I think that those of us that were close to her would have felt that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Wow.
So, all those memories are still there. They're all there. I just feel very honored, and I thought all of us that were so close with her were very fortunate to have that special time with her and to learn at that level and to see her passion, because that was her passion. And what makes me so happy and makes my heart sing now is that I know that what she wanted to happen is happening because of all you guys. And it just gives me goosebumps.
Aww. So, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Dr. Norman Walker was around in the era of Anne Wigmore, right?
She knew him well.
They knew each other well.
Yes.
Like, how well?
How well? Well, I don't...
Did they date?
No, they didn't date. That's cute. Dr. Ann Wigmore knew him well because he was into raw juice. They were friends. And he died in a swimming accident. I think most people probably know that. And he was 100 and... Was he 90-something or 100? I can't remember. I think he was in his late 90s.
I looked at his graves. I saw there's a gravestone on the website. It says 99. If it's true, I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he was up there because, I wouldn't. He was in the late 90s. I mean, he was pretty well up there in age. You just asked me a question that sparked something that I thought was interesting. Dr. Norman Walker and Wigmore. Oh, I don't know. I hope it comes back, but I just knew that they knew each other well. And Victorious, of course, started out with Hippocrates with Dr. Ann. He was one of the first people that she brought in to bring that together too, Victorious Kovinskas.
So you were mentioning, like, Norman Walker was into juicing. She was into wheatgrass. Did she believe in the juicing?
Yes, absolutely. You're a really good interviewer. You really are. Thank you. This makes it easy. Yes, she believed in juicing,
like
definitely.
Carrots and everything, but she was more into wheatgrass.
She believed in juicing, but she also believed in juicing sprouts and sunflower and buckwheat and adding it to your juice because it was so powerful.
Right.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So, there was a lot of respect between the two of them.
That's cool. Did you know Dr. Norman Walker at all? Or?
I met him once at Hippocrates. That was it. So I didn't, But the first book I ever bought was Be Your Own Doctor, and that was in 1979, beginning of 1980, 1979. And no, a friend gave them to me. A young woman, 10 years younger than me, was a mentor to me, and I saw their lifestyle, and I saw their children, and they were all raw fooders. And so I started learning from Kathy and Craig, and before they moved up to Northern California, they gave me two books. One was Be Your Own Doctor by Dr. Ann Wigmore, and the other was Survival into the 21st Century by Victorious Kovinskas. And I devoured them. And ironically enough, it was 4 months after that, April of 1980, when I found out I had, I pretty much suspected as it was happening, but I found out I had the fibroids and the tumors in my ovaries. So that's why I called the number in the back of Dr. Ann's book and got to speak with her personally, so it pretty much made up my mind that that's what I was going to do, even though I wasn't sure if it would work, but I was astounded, of course.
Enzymes are a new supplement on the market. They weren't around back in the day where Anne Wigmore was.
Yeah, Dr. Edward Howell was probably one of the first books that we read about digestive enzymes and enzymes and how they work in the body. And now, of course, they're all over the place because people understand the importance of enzyme activity in the body is directly related to the aging process and of everything. So, I know that...
They weren't around, though, when she was alive,
No,
though.
no.
She didn't have
Actually,
access to those.
No, wait. When she was alive, yes, they were. One of the first ones that came out, companies that put them out, was a company by Dr. Edward Howell, and yes, they were, but not in the beginning days. I think I can't recall, but I'm sure we had enzymes by the early '80s in all the health food stores. But where there wasn't such an array of enzymes, and there wasn't so much specialty, so many groups of specialty enzymes at the time either.
Right.
But we really don't take enzymes when we eat the living them raw. Of course, you know that. And some people eat too many nuts, so then they take more enzymes.
Right.
So, but yeah, they were around in the '80s, but probably when she started, they weren't, because she started Hippocrates so much. I think it was in the '60s, early '60s when she started Hippocrates. Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. Dr. Ann Wigmore was a furrier in her beef. She was a furrier.
What is that?
She made fur coats and fur hats. She was married into a cultural family, and they were all lawyers and doctors, and she was a furrier. And she told me, you wouldn't believe some of the clothes I used to wear. That was in her life before she moved on with her life and opened up Hippocrates. She made.
So then, when she became more conscious, she stopped doing that sort of thing.
Immediately. Well, she's yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
She showed me pictures of how she used to be decked out. Of course, she totally came to be an earth child.
Was she on the brink of dying before she got into the lifestyle? In Wigmore?
She had arthritis, and she had colon cancer. So, of course, she had healed herself when she was a child with her grandmother. If you read her book, she'll learn that story, which is pretty amazing. But, yeah, she was pretty sick, and she moved on with her life, and did what she's doing. And she took everything she learned from her grandmother as a child, because she lived with her grandmother in Lithuania, and her parents were in the United States. And it was during the war that her grandmother and her lived together. Her story is so amazing. Her grandmother would help the soldiers, and she would work with them with grasses, and put them on wounds, and she never forgot any of that. It was amazing. I think her grandmother was probably what we would call, this wouldn't be the word they would use then, but she was more like a naturopath back then. And
Wow.
Yeah. She learned it all from her grandma, and started working when she came to the States. She had been in a horse and buggy accident, and the wheels rolled over her ankles, and she had gangrene. And the doctors said that she was with her parents at that time, that they would have to amputate her ankles, her feet. And she said, no, just put me outside every day and let me sit in the grass every day. And she had her cat, and she would chew on grass and put it on the wounds every day, and her cats would lick her wound, the cat would lick her wounds, and the gangrene went away, and that was her story.
Wigmore.
At Wigmore.
And she has a daughter, doesn't she?
She has a daughter. She has a daughter, and I just know that her and her daughter really didn't see each other I don't know a whole lot about it. She didn't really talk about it a long time, but from what I understand, her family pretty much disowned her because she was weird. Back then, that was weird.
Yeah, it's
but
pretty
what
crazy.
I understand, it's hard to say this on camera, but that was her experience. So I think that's why a lot of us, she took under her wing, because I kind of felt like a daughter, and so I'm sure a lot of us did, that she worked on that level with. We were very fortunate.
Wow, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And we'll be here over the next couple days. We can talk about other things.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. This was a surprise. Thank you so much, Matt.
Thank you. All right, we've got Joyce Oliveto and Matt Monarch, and we'll see you tomorrow at the Raw Food World TV show.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again at the Raw Food World.